Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about their new film, The Rip, directed by Joe Carnahan. Alan and I will be reviewing it shortly. I have several clips. I mean, they talk about a lot on this episode of the show. It's gold. And what I've always admired about both Damon and Affleck is they are actors who understand filmmaking and the craft. They're not just actors, they are producers, directors. They really get it. And there's a lot of clips here. I'm not going to show them all, but we have a lot to get to, worth commenting on. In this clip here, I'll he says, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on Rogan, you reiterate the plot 3 to 4 times in dialogue because people are on their phones. Look at this.
Experience of watching at home, I think, you're watching in a room, the lights are on, other shit's going on, the kids are running around, the dogs are running around, whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's just a very different level of attention that you're willing to, or that you're able to give to it. And that has a big effect. And it also ends up having an effect, or is starting to have an effect on how you make movies. Like, for instance, Netflix, the standard way to make an action movie that we learned was, you usually have like 3 set pieces, one in the first act, one in the second, one in the third. And, they kind of ramp up, and the big one with all the explosions, and you spend most of your money on that one in the third act. That's your kind of finale. And now they're like, can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes to get somebody, we want people to stay tuned in, and it wouldn't be terrible if you reiterated the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue. People are on their phones while they're watching, you know what I mean?
Oh, no.
And so then it's going to really start to infringe on how we're telling the story.
But then you look at Adolescence, it didn't do any of that.
It didn't do any of that.
And it's fucking great. You know what I mean? So I think it's dark too. It's tragic and intense. It's like guy who finds out these kids accused of murder, and it's like, and there's long shots in the back of their head. They get in the car, nobody says anything. I think there are those. Look, these. I
wish that were that feels more like the exception.
So I mean, there are more clips here I'm going to show, but what do you think about that? Like, look, I can't, and I'm guilty. I have watched Netflix stuff and gotten on my phone. Now it depends on what it is, right? But I'll do that. I'm guilty. I think everyone here is guilty, unless
to me, that's all streaming. It's
that's any streaming.
Right. You think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
The temptations are there. Your phone is in your hand. The lights are on. You're probably alone or with your partner, and there's no theatrical experience at home.
No, because you can do whatever you want. So yeah, this has been a thing for a while, second screen viewing at home. And that's why the scripts are getting worse and worse. You having people in the show repeating dialogue over and over, repeating the plot over and over. And we're sitting there wondering, like, why are you saying this again? And it's because of the people who are watching at home who are distracted. It's second screen viewing material. It's just making all of these projects horrible. It's a pain to watch it, especially if you're sitting there and actually paying attention to the dialogue, paying attention to what's going on. What's funny is that what he said about how Netflix wants like a big explosion or something to hook you in within the first 5 minutes, that's something that they tell TikTok creators and Instagram creators. You need to hook them in within the first like 10 or 15 seconds of your video. And that way they won't scroll up or scroll past you. You need to hook them in within like the first 5 seconons, actually.
That's
if it's short form content or something like that. But it's
that's
funny
the
that
difference
now
between
they're
that's the
doing that
difference
now.
between good. That's the difference between following the algorithm and telling a good story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They make movies for the short attention span economy. It's like, are you watching this? You're not really watching this. We'll repeat the plot about 5 or 6 times so that way you understand what's going on. And just hang in there. We'll go ahead. We'll have a big explosion here. We'll have a big action scene here. They're really not telling the story. And to me, that's the major problem because people don't have attention span.
But see, I don't believe that.
Right.
Though.
And it's like the next generation, Gen Z. They don't have a long attention span to actually sit through and watch a movie. That's why they're distracted by so many things because their attention span is so short. You see teachers complaining about this with Gen Z and Gen Alpha right now, that their attention span is so short. And I think Netflix is realizing this, I suppose, and putting that into their content. They're like, you have to repeat the dialogue and you have to hook these people in and keep hooking them in throughout the movie with grand explosions or something like that in order to keep their attention, because the attention span is so short.
Well, Darth Yeager said, real quick, Dante, Darth Yeager just pointed out, I would call these shows movies to fold laundry by, because I can have it playing in the background and I do something inconsequential like alphabetize DVDs or fold my laundry.
Good stories are, they're engaging. Good stories are engaging. They make you stop what you're doing and invest yourself in that story. And what we're doing now is we are just flashing images in front of people, giving them dopamine.
Welcome to Derry.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Derry started on my second screen, and then I very quickly was like, oh no, I actually want to pay attention. Fallout 2. I was like, nope, I have to mainstream monitor this. I don't want to do anything else, just watch it. But very few break through that threshold. So.
And I was going to say, I don't know necessarily if they're making these things for people with short attention spans or not. Only because it seems like every movie is over 2 hours, right? Like if they're really like trying to cater to a short attention span, we would have shorter films, like an hour and a half, maybe hour 20 minutes. But no, these are all like over 2 hours, right? But yet they're saying that they're catering to people with a short attention span.
It's second screen viewing, though. That's why you have to repeat the plot over and over and over again
for over 2 hours. I mean, that's a lot.
They'll give you the plot at least a couple of times. You know, they'll tell you what's going on. Like it was like somebody had brought this up with Stranger Things. Don't you notice how in Stranger Things, every couple of episodes, they got to explain, okay, guys, here's what we're trying to do. And then they go through this long soliloquy of every step of the plot. It's like, haven't you been paying attention to what their mission is and what we're trying to accomplish? No, they sit down, they stop the show, and they explain to the audience, because they're really not talking to themselves. They're talking to the audience, and they're laying out every single plot point that they're about to, execute in the next 30 minutes or whatever. So they do that in Stranger Things, which is Netflix. And so it's how they tell stories on Netflix.
You got to really watch this entire interview or listen to it.
It's really good.
It's really good, and they really get into like Netflix doesn't tell them what to do, but they'll provide like the show Kill Tony. I love Kill Tony on Netflix. Very funny comedy show. They'll give Kill Tony stats like this is when people stop watching Kill Tony. They don't tell the producers of the Kill Tony show to change anything. They just said, here's when people, if you want people to keep watching your show, you're probably going to make changes based on data. Here's Ben Affleck talking about AI clip here.
What I see is that, for example, if you try to get ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to write you something, it's really shitty. And it's shitty because by its nature, it goes to the mean, to the average. And it's not reliable. And I just can't stand to see what it writes. Now, it's a useful tool if you're a writer and you're going, what's the thing? I'm trying to set something up, or somebody sends someone a letter, but it's delayed 2 days and it can give you some examples of that. I actually don't think it's very likely that it's going to be able to write anything meaningful, and in particular, that it's going to be making movies like from whole cloth, like Tilly Norwood. Like that's bullshit. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's not. I think it turns out the technology is not progressing in exactly the same way they sort of presented it. And really, what it is going to be a tool. Just like sort of visual effects. And it needs to have language around it. You need to protect your name and likeness. You can do that. You can watermark it. Those laws already exist. I can't sell your fucking picture for money. I can't. You can sue me, period. It kind of feels to me like the thing we were talking about earlier, where there's a lot more fear because we have this existential dread. It's going to wipe everything out. Right. But that actually runs counter, in my view, to what history seems to show, which is adoption is slow. It's incremental. I think a lot of that rhetoric comes from people who are trying to justify valuations around companies where they go, we're going to change everything. In 2 years, there's going to be no more work. Right. Well, the reason they're saying that is because they need to ascribe a valuation for investment that can warrant the CapEx spend they're going to make on these data centers, with the argument that like, as soon as we do the next model, it's going to scale up, it can be 3 times as good. Except that actually ChatGPT-5 about 25% better than ChatGPT-4 and costs about 4 times as much in the way of electricity and data. So
he goes on and on. Very good interview. We shit on a lot of celebrities for saying dumb shit, but there are celebrities out there that are smart, that know the business, that understand story, that know production, that they're in short supply. There aren't as many of them. Most of them are captured by whatever mainstream propaganda. But this interview is exceptional. I've had friends who are screenwriters who do use ChatGPT to take a scene they have already written and write 5 versions of it. And then they wrote the scene. It's a randomizer. Like when in a video game, when you design a character, you can spend hours, a crazy, stupid amount of time designing a character in a game, or do what I do. Randomize.
You're a sadist.
Yeah. I'm lazy when it comes to that aspect. I'm not going to sit there like, what should the chin and the eyebrows? You have so many.
Hey, you got to adjust the boobs, man. You got to adjust the boobs. They always start you flat. So
that's an easy one. But what do you think about what he said?
I think he's 100% correct. I think that AI is a tool. It's more. I've been saying this since the beginning, that the cream is going to rise to the top. Good writers are going to eclipse all the AI that's out there. AI is not going to be able to write anything that's going to be like, oh my God, what an amazing script. We're not going to get that from AI. AI can do the bare bones. It could just give you, okay, here's a story idea. Or here's, if you plug in all of your, information, here's a story idea I have. Go ahead, ChatGPT, spit out a script. What ChatGPT is going to give you is nothing that is going to be a relevant, well-worth script. It's going to give you just AI slop, really. You can take that and create something out of it, like use it as a skeleton, and say, okay, I've taken this idea. AI kind of helped me flesh it out. That's what Ben Affleck was saying. It kind of helps you maybe kind of get a couple of different ideas of what you can do with this scene. But it's not going to write the script for you. It's going to take actual human beings to write great content. And then, like I said, the cream's going to rise to the top. So people that are using AI right now, and I got a lot of buddies that are writers or trying to be writers, and they're using AI. They're absolutely using AI, but they're using it to kind of fine tune some of their ideas or get a broader picture of what's possible. And then they're diving in and they're, tinkering with it. But they're still writing the script. They're just using AI as almost like, hey, I need 5 different ideas of what I could do with this particular scene, and that sort of thing. And I think that's fine. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
We use AI a lot in this day and age. We use all kinds of stuff. So I don't really have a big problem with it.
Yeah. And I've always said, look, I think AI is great to use as like a proof of concept, right? Like you have an idea. You want to see what it looks like visually before you start filming, use it for that reason. I look, as much as I champion AI, I have never said that at some point it's going to work on its own, right? I've tried it. I just out of shits and giggles, I asked AI to write me a script, and I gave it all the details about what I wanted the movie to be about, and it was garbage. It was like the worst thing I ever fucking read in my life. AI is not going to ever get to that point. But if I'm a good prompter, if I know what I'm doing, I could use AI to write a script, right? And that's what it's going to come down to, is the people who know how to use it versus the people who don't, right? It's not going to be AI itself that's going to put people out of business or out of work. It's going to be the people who know how to use it right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't completely ignore new technology because you'll just get left behind. That's what happens. It's always the case with new tech. And so that's the thing, is if we pretend like it's not there, it's just people are going to use it as a tool to surpass you and essentially put you out of a job at some point. So you at least got to know it and understand it.
Well, and there's also there's always going to be people who like overuse it, right? I mean, like, look at the volume, right? How many fucking studios overuse the volume now? To the point where
not anymore. AI has put the volume out of business. It's gone. AI, look, volume stages are going for 50 cents on the dollar, half price.
Wow.
A friend who you might know, like he's telling me the volume stages, like now that's gone. That's AI has completely replaced volume stages.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. No,
I still think that what AI will do is speed up the process for writing. So if you're trying to get through a scene and you need some help, you can like go to AI and say, hey, give me about 5-6 different ideas of dialogue, of ideas. And then you as the writer, oh, okay, got it. And then you're gone. All right. You're not going to rely on the AI to write the the scene for you. But what you will do is say, okay, I got some ideas. I think I know where I can take this now. And then you'll move forward. And then that's where AI can be of a benefit to writers. I don't know how, for the rest of Hollywood, like acting, and directing and all that kind of stuff. I don't think AI is going to replace actors. I know that they have that Tilly Norwood, chick that everybody's worried about. This is going to be the new actor. But I said this before, like if Tilly Norwoods and all of these AI actors become the norm, people are going to want to watch real people because we're real human beings and we want that human connection. So we're not going to watch AI actors or AI things on the screen. Like think about all these AI videos that you're watching. Do you want to watch this for the rest of your life? Like there's some great AI videos out there. Star Wars, creators have been putting that out there, but you don't want to watch this for the rest of your life. Eventually, you're going to want to watch actual actors acting. So if that took over Hollywood, then everybody would just go back to the stage plays, and to musicals and watching live actors because you're watching a live actor. You're not watching AI. Nobody wants to watch AI. So I don't think studios will ever go in that direction.
Well,
I think we will always have real actors acting in these movies.
I agree, but I think there will be AI movies at some point. Case in point, these Star Wars and Star Trek videos. If you watch Star Wars Theory or Echo Base Network, shout out to both of them. They've been reacting to some AI content made with Luke Skywalker.
Beggar's Canyon is great.
Pretty great. Good.
But how long is that just a phase? Like we're watching it now.
It's only going to get better. Here's what AI will be. It'll be a category. Like anime is a category. AI is not going to destroy Hollywood, or it'll be a category like anime. Like I'm going to see this one AI movie's good. As far as I'm concerned, Alan, you have reviewed AI movies submitted to Film Thread. I don't think any of them have been good. Yeah, none.
Not a
but
one.
One day there will be, and it'll be used. I don't know if you watch the Door Brothers, DOR. Look them up, the Door Brothers, and people like Damon Packard. Look at what they're not. Look, they're not there yet. But they're experimenting. They'll get to a place where they'll be able to do something. It's going to just be another category like anime or something, a different flavor.